Hello, everyone. This is Kotsur here speaking, also known as Maximov, if you remember the last video. Internet's busy examining there, and it's time for me to talk about 25 of the best anime of 2024 has to offer. And yep, you pretty much know the gist of the title. I talked about the 10 worst animes of 2024 has to offer, and now I'm going to talk about 25 of them on my best anime of 2024. So yeah, in a nutshell, 2024 has been a pretty interesting year for new anime. And while it's not as exciting as maybe like the past couple years of anime to come out, I figured if I'm talking about the worst anime of 2024, I gotta also talk about what I think are the 25 best anime of 2024. So the way I'm going to be talking about this before I get into it is that I'm going to kind of speed run the first 15 animes that I have on my list, and then once we get to the top 10, I'm going to go into like a little bit more detail to each and every one of those and why I consider those to be the best of the best. So, without further ado, let's start off at number 25. I have some tabs already set up here, and you may have already seen like what's on here already to be spoiled, but let's get on to it. So, at number 25, we have the ever so polarizing show Shika Noko 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 Koshtantan, or My Dear Friend Nokotan. Again, look, I understand there's a lot of hate going around with this show right now, but look, considering how funny and how interesting this show was when it first came out, I think you can't deny that this was definitely one of the most talked about shows of the year, and I think it's a show that is at least unique in the fact that it's like shit posting as an anime form in a nutshell. But yeah, I think number 25 would be My Dear Friend Nakotan. And number 24, we have Windbreakers, which is a show that came out not too long ago, earlier this year in anime. And again, look, Windbreakers, it's that typical, like, if you pretty much like Tokyo Revengers, you're pretty much going to get a lot of bang for your buck for this show, in a nutshell. And number 23, we have the final season of Day of Life Season 5 to be finally finished and adapted by Geek Toy Studios itself. Yep, Day of Life is back. Again, whatever your feelings are with the Day of Life franchise as a whole is overall, I think we can agree that season 4 of Day of Life that came out not that long ago was a pretty good fourth season. And the fifth season, in my opinion, is definitely the strongest of the bunch. And while it may not be like super flashy in its final moments, I think that it did the best that they could to wrap the story up. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. At number 22, we have the Spice and Wolf re-anime adaptation of Spice and Wolf Merchant Meets the Wise Wolf. Again, a 25 episode epic by Passion Studios. It is subtle, it is sweet, and pretty much if you like the original Spice and Wolf that came out back in 2008 2009, I think you're going to like the re-anime adaptation of the show. And the fact that we got a second season coming around the corner is definitely saying something. As for when it's going to come out, I'm not too sure. But you best believe that this is still a pretty good show to come out this year. At number 21, we have Isla Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian. Again, a really good victory lap once again from Doga Koba Studios. If you know how much of a high host they're in right now, but this is like a really good, really sweet slice of life anime show with a Russian twist that is really good, really amazing. And the fact that we got a season 2 on the way kind of showcased that this show has potential to grow and become much bigger than what it is currently at the moment. But again, considering that Doga Koba Studios is at this uphill rise, I think it's going to go better from here. All right, and number 20 is Spy Family Code White. Look, what can truly be said about Spy Family that has been said already about it? I think the show's really good. I think it's really great. This is just pretty much a really fun movie for everyone to enjoy. And yes, while this show did came out in December of 2023, that's to be expected. But technically, this movie did came out this year because again, if you don't know how movies work when it comes to when Japan gets it and the Western audience and myself gets it. There's like a 3 month, 6 month gap before the Western audience is able to get what Japan more or less gotten. So, but overall, once this was available this past summer of this year, I gave it a watch, and sure enough, it's good. It's hilarious. It's everything you love about Spy Family, all in one little movie in a nutshell. Let's see. before we move on. Just want to make sure we're count up here. All right. Moving on here at number 19, we have Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. Again, Dogakoba Studios crushing it again once again with a show that's really unique. It's about four girls going in the band and forming a little band together, and essentially they go through the ups and downs and tribulations of the entertainment industry and artistry, and how each girl goes through like certain parts of their life to go into like to tackle a lot of the deeper and darker moments that happen within their life. Again, really good show, really underrated show in my opinion for to come out of this year 2024, and I think it's a show that many people should give a shot if you have the chance. At number 18, we have a show that's similar to the last slot, but that is Girls Band Cry by Toei Animation. Yeah, kind of crazy, but Girls Band Cry is another one of those shows that if you pretty much like Bochi the Rock, but now as like a 3D animation type of deal, you're gonna get a lot of bang for your buck for this show. Again, super cool, really unique. Kind of has like a really interesting but really out there concept that like is that you pretty much cannot ignore in a nutshell. And overall, Girls Band Cry is one of those shows that for me is like really fun to watch. And again, if you're a Bochi the Rock fan or if you like your K-On shows in a nutshell, I think this show is going to appeal to you in a pretty significant manner. The only thing though is that if you don't like the 3D animation, which I understand is a massive cliche at this point, I guess this show may not be for you, but I think the 3D animation on this show is really nice, really clean. Again, this is definitely way out of the ballpark that I would expect from Toei Animations, but hey, they took the risk, and I think the risk really did pay off for this show. All right, next on our list is, let me see, before I lose my count here. At number 17, we have Gushing Over Magical Girls. Whew, man, what can truly be said about this show that I've have more or less been explained to a lot of my friends. Gushing Over Magical Girls is a journey. It's taking like the typical magical girl genre, but now taking it in its sexiest, raunchiest, and craziest moments ever. Again, you're gonna have some of the weirdest but cleanest animation transformations ever. And if you like your magical girl type animes, maybe steer away from this one because it does get a little raunchy real fast. And it kind of takes the whole magical girl drama but flips it over into where, oh, this time we're now villains and we're going to be doing the villain part of things. It's really interesting. And I'll leave that at that. Next on here at number 16, we have Classroom the Elite Season 3. Again, season 3 of Classroom the Elite, super strong, really great, actually ties up what happened in the previous second season from a year ago, I believe, prior. And again, Lurchy Studios crushing it once again with this with the Classroom the Elite adaptations, and I cannot say much else about it. All right. Um, all right. Next on my list is really a bit of a tiebreaker. You can kind of switch around both of these shows because they're basically by the same author, and that's Urusei Yatsura Season 2 to come out of 2022 and Rama One Half. Again, both of these shows are pretty much by the same author, Rumiko Takahashi, but the reason why they're kind of separated and they're not like tied up in the same listing here is simply because they're under different animation studios. Urusei Yatsura being under Dave Production and Rama One Half being under Mappa Studios. What I can definitely say about both of these shows as we move on is that both of them are absolutely great. They're really good iterations of reanimate adaptations from shows that came out many years ago and now it's into the modern sense. And I think they crushed it. So either way, at the 15th and 14th spot, you can switch these two around, and personally, they're both really good shows overall. That if you want to discover why Urusei Yatsura was super great, if you want to discover why Rama One Half was super great at one point, give these shows a shot. That's all I'm gonna say. At number 13, we have Yubizaki to Ren Ren, or A Sign of Affection. This was a show that came out earlier this year about basically, just think of this show as a silent voice, but now as a 12 episode anime epic where, yeah, pretty much that's the best way I can compliment the show is that it's a silent voice, but now it's an anime as a 12-episode anime epic. Again, give the show a spin. You're gonna hear some of the best voice acting of the year, some of the best animation to come out that you're gonna witness this year, and overall a really good um, I could say like a crazy but weird love triangle, or more like a love pentagon that's happening in this show that develops and develops up until the very end. The only thing that I think is a crime with the show is that we're not going to get a season two potentially, which is a damn shame because this show really did start off really strong. But either way, there's other shows to talk about, so we'll move on from there to our number 12 spot, Kaiju number 8. Yeah, crazy to think. Kaiju number 8 came out earlier this year in the spring season, you could say. Kaiju number 8, in a nutshell, is one of those shows that came out of the bat swinging. This was this was coming out of the recent Soul Leveling that came out way like a couple months earlier before Kaiju number 8 came out. And yeah, Kaiju number 8 is absolutely great. It has one of the most stellar animation ever, some of the best fight sequences ever you're going to see in the show, and a story that, yes, while it's nothing brand new or nothing interesting per se, I think that this show hits all the marks really well for like a really good shonen anime series. So yeah, give the show a shot. And if you love it, definitely be on the lookout for season 2. That's going to be eventually coming out because it does start off pretty strong and ends pretty strong, in my opinion. All right, and at number 11, we have the Haikyuu movie, The Dumpster Battle. Yes, Haikyuu, they're back. They're officially freaking back with The Dumpster Battle, which is one of the most highly anticipated movies that I've been waiting on the since the ending of Haikyuu to the Top Part 2 and its announcements of the franchise coming to an end with many movies coming out. So yeah, the dumpster battle. Again, Production IG crushed it with this. They kept everything that we love about Haikyuu freaking amazing. Again, if you pretty much haven't been caught with Haikyuu, highly recommend watch Haikyuu, man. It is worth the investment. It is worth the time. You're going to actually love and care about a sports anime, and I think I'm gonna leave it there. Whew. All right, but here we are. Here we are. If you made it this far, we are here in the top 10. At number 10 is a show that's actually going to be continuing to air going into 2025 of next year, and that is Blue Box. This show is, in a word, really wholesome, really gorgeous, really freaking beautiful. This has like a lot of the strong slice of life romantic aspects of everything that I love in a slice of life anime, but also simultaneously it now involves sports. So, and out of all the things, it combines a girl that likes basketball and a boy that likes badminton sports. And what do you do in the scenario that's being given to you right now? You take those elements and you make it a romantic comedy show. And my God, I don't know what Telecom Animation Films has been doing, man, but I swear to God, every time Telecom Animation Films comes over with a new anime, the animation is just freaking gorgeous, and they somehow hire like some of the best voice actors you would see in the game right now. But yeah, this show is absolutely really good, really stellar. I don't know how this is going to end, of course, but right now this is like really strong for what we have for 11 episodes at the moment. So we'll see how the show ends, but considering where it's starting off right now, I think this is like a pretty strong contender for best slice of life anime of the past 5 years, in my opinion. And I think I'll leave it at that. Excuse me. At number 9, we have the highly anticipated but worth the wait Konosuba Season 3 by Drive Studios, of all things. Yup, they're back. Our four crazy adventure delinquent trios are back and they're ready to kick ass and take names. And man, Konosuba Season 3 was worth the freaking wait. This was absolutely great. The animation of the show is freaking stellar. And what's kind of funny was that I was actually worried about this show going into it, considering that this is the third animation studio that's taken over Konosuba. Because prior to this, the movie that came out in 2019 was under JC staff. And as you know, the first two seasons of Konosuba were under Studio Dean. So, of course, with season 3 being under Drive Studios, I was a little worried considering that will they drop the ball on this? And nope, they did not. They had this thing cooked and ready. And what's funny is that we still have like one more episode left to drop that I'm still waiting on for to wrap up Konosuba season 3, and that's the OVA with the bonus stage, which I'm definitely going to look forward to watching when it eventually comes out. But let's just say, look, if you love Konosuba as a whole overall, you're gonna get a lot of laughs for this show. The humor of this show is still fire. The craziness of how our four delinquent duels work together, interact with each other, talk to each other in this crazy world is still good. It's still fire. The only complaint I have about this third season is that, man, I wish there was more, because there's only 11 episodes for this third season, and god damn it, I wish there was more. So that's number 9. At number 8, we have Dungeon Meshi, a show that was actually popped off pretty hard this year by Studio Trigger of all things. Now, look, I know that you're seeing my score right now, and it's a 7 out of 10, but here's the reason why. And the reason is that I feel like the first half of Dungeon Meshi was a little bit weaker than the second half, which is justified. I think that again, the second half was definitely stronger than the first half, and given that we do have a season 2 around the corner, I have full hope that the second season is going to do way better than this first season overall. But regardless of what I have it as at the moment, Dungeon Meshi is a really good, really standout show, and shows like this and Social no Furin are definitely taking anime in an interesting direction at the moment. And I can't deny that this show has definitely caught on with a lot of people, and I feel like this show is going to experience a lot more growth, a lot more success outside of this for many years to come. And again, it's going to be interesting to see where Dungeon Meshi goes from here, especially with the final moments of the show, ending on such a crazy cliffhanger that's dark, eerie, but also with like a little bit of hope. So again, if you pretty much love everything that Studio Trigger has come to offer you over these past couple of years, especially granting us the ever so amazing and already critical acclaim of Cyberpunk Edge Runners, you're definitely gonna love Delicious in Dungeon, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. At number 7, we have Soul Leveling. Yep, I'm pretty sure you're shocked as many that this isn't in my top 5, but no, Soul Leveling in a nutshell is a really good, really standout show that really burst onto the scene with guns blazing. And it's no surprise, too. This show, in a nutshell, was like really good, really like again, it's taking like a lot of the typical cliche stuff that we've seen in other shows in the past, but now it's like revamped for the modern sense where it's actually really cool, really badass. The soundtrack is amazing. The fight sequences are amazing. What's interesting too is that each episode is different from each other, where the animation somehow gets better. The art style of of our main protagonist here gets significantly better throughout the whole show. And while yes, the ending is a little bit divisive in terms of how it should have ended, in my opinion, I do have faith that season 2 of Soul Leveling is gonna be even more bigger because right now this first season of Soul Leveling is like the prologue of what's to come, and I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to be one of the most talked about shows to come out when season 2 comes out, inevitably next year. But again, A1 Pictures crushing this show as always, and another reason why the manhwa adaptations have been going sky high for some time now this year. And I think I'll leave it. And that's all I have to say about it. Again, great show. Nothing else to say about it, man. I mean, all these shows are great, but you know what's even greater than our number 7 spot? Our number 6 spot. ReZero Season 3. Again, another show that is currently airing right now, but for a myriad of weird reasons. So, if you're not caught up in the ReZero Season 3 lore, the reason why the show's still airing is that they split it to 2 seasons, or 2 halves of this third season. The first 8 episodes being the attack arc, and then the second arc being the counterattack arc, will officially start airing in February of 2025. So, for right now, I can only judge it based off the first 8 episodes. And man, ReZero Season 3 is officially back. They're still going that dark, really messed up territory, but also connecting a lot of pieces and a lot of really key characters that played a role from the previous seasons prior. And the way it starts, the way it ends is really good, really subtle. It honestly does feel a bit quick for just these 8 episodes right now, but given the potential and where it left off in the final moments of these 8 episodes, I have no doubt the counterattack arc is going to be super, super well put together. And I'm looking forward to where season 3 is going to go from here. And I just hope that uh, it started off the way it started off strong. I hope it ends really, really strong. Whew. All right, here we go. Number 5. We're at the number 5 spot on my list, and that is Makiine, or Too Many Losing Heroines. Whew, man, A1 Pictures once again crushing it as always. And I have to say, taking my slurp of some juice right now, Maki Ine is really one of those shows that is super unique. Out of all the slice of life animes I've talked about prior to this list, this is one of the most unique slice of life shows to come out this year, where it takes that concept or gives us that question of, hey, what happens to the secondary characters in a slice of life anime that loses the battle towards the main character, right? Well, we get Maki Ine, which is taking that concept and flipping over our heads in the craziest and really nicest way possible. Again, you have some of the gorgeous animation you're going to see this year. You have some of the best voice acting ever put into a freaking anime adaptation. And overall, the music, the stories, the characters that you get to know within these rejected main girl characters are so freaking good, so damn wholesome that you kind of just want to hug each and every one of them and just wish that you were their actual girlfriends. But man, they're crushing it, man. They're doing a good job with this adaptation, and I can't say much else about it. But yeah, this was a strong new anime that came out this year that I could not see myself playing any lower, even though, like, yes, there are some elements that are pretty obvious and cliche at the moment, but I think they're self aware of it to know that, like, hey, we're not taking this shit too seriously. Like, if you know what's going on, you know what's going on. Whew. But yeah, that's Monkey Ine in a nutshell. And number 4, we have what's arguably the best brand new anime of 2024, and I had to think long and hard about this one, but the more I thought about it, I realized that this was deserving to be placed higher on here. And this is probably the last brand new anime I'm going to be talking about, and that's Dandadan. Man, look, Dandadan, what can truly be said about the show? I think this is easily the best brand new anime of 2024. This show, in a nutshell, is super freaking unpredictable. The only compliment I can say is that this show is just really weird and crazy, but to put it in a nutshell, if you like aliens, if you like the paranormal activity, and you like um, really weird, goofy animation that is like just mind warpingly weird, you're gonna like Dandadan. This show is absolutely beautiful, really gorgeous, really gets you to the nitty gritty of things, and does not cut corners at all. And I think that in a nutshell, Don Da Don is a show that I think is going to be hard to live up to and beat out. Because, like I said, shows like Soul Leveling could have been much higher here. Yes, don't get me wrong, but I don't think we found a show as good and as unique as Dawn to Dawn this year. And I think, um, given that we already have a season 2 confirmed to come out next year, it's going to be interesting to see where this show's going to go from here. Because, man, Science Saru really is truly back, and they absolutely crushed it with this show. And that's all I'm going to say. But unfortunately, it's not the number 1 spot. It's at number 4. Because after number 4 is number 3. And that is Mushoku Tensei Season 2 Part 2. Yeah, look, Studio Bind is back, and they're back to continue season 2 of the show, which, if y'all remember how season 2 started and ended, I'm not gonna go into detail about it. It's just watch the show yourself. But season 2, part 2 is definitely the stronger half of the bunch. Um, where it showcases the growth that Rudius has been through the trials and tribulations that he's been through. There's a lot of crazy but shocking twists and turns that happen throughout this second season, part two, season two, part two. That if I were to talk about it right now, I would instantly be spoiling it. To be honest with you, but all I can say is this is definitely one of the most like hands down one of the greatest character developing seasons of any isekai show I've seen ever. And in a nutshell, it definitely leaves me looking forward to how season three will is going to turn out when it eventually comes out in the near future. So yeah, again, animation is crisp and clean. The fight sequences are stellar and no filter. The moments where it's like really slow pace and slice of life is really good and really tugs on your heartstrings. And overall, it's just a really good, well rounded show. Whew. All right, now at number two, we have Oshinoko season two. Yep, Oshinoko season two. This is probably the darkest season of any brand new season anime to come out in a nutshell. And look, I think I'm not going to be beating around the bushes on this one. Season two is absolutely great. It's probably an almost near masterpiece for where it first started in the first season. And while it may not have been a strong opening compared to the first season, I think what it tackles in its subject matter and the entertainment industry at large and such is really good, really strong. It doesn't shy away from anything. And look, in a nutshell, this is absolutely gorgeous. Animation's spot on, the voice acting is spot on, and I can really go on and on about how good the show is. But man, this was a tough one to pick and decide as to like which one is the best thing to come out of this year. So, yeah, this one could have easily been number one, and I wish I could talk more about it, but man, this show is just on a whole new level of just exploring characters and the dark, dark depths of what's to come in the entertainment world and what our main characters are going through. But I couldn't put this in the number one spot because the number one spot for me is one of the best slice of animes to come out this year and easily triumphs a lot of the shows that came before it. And that is The Angels of My Heart Season 2. Yep, The Angels of My Heart Season 2 is a really, really good season. This show more or less exemplifies and improves everything from the first season that came out last year of 2023. And Season 2 kind of takes everything that was a little bit weak about the first season and exemplifies it so freaking well. The voice acting on the show is great. The animation by Shinen Animations is freaking gorgeous to the point where a lot of like this show is like the second season in a nutshell is like character development on steroids. This thing was amazing. And overall, I feel like this is like a really good slice of anime show that can really go toe to toe and rival with a lot of really good slice of anime shows that came out not only in the past 5 years but many years before it. It's super good, and I'm even more hyped and in so much suspense now as to whether or not when the movie will come out eventually. Because man, this was freaking great. This was good. And with that being said, I think that this will wrap up the best animes the of 2024. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you soon, and I hope that you got a lot of recommendations for the best anime of 2024 has to offer. Thank you.